Hello, and welcome to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. I'm Peter Wilkin, and I'm here to help you build differentiated, enduring brands and thriving businesses. It's not really a podcast, it's more a series of strategic insights, stories, and secrets of success from a lifetime's career in advertising, brand consulting, and change management. The thread that binds them is brand-centered management, the trademark brand building process and philosophy I developed with my partners at the brand company over 20 years ago, that's since been embraced by thousands of brand professionals and some of the world's most iconic brands. The 4Ds process and brand DNAs have become well known in brand strategy circles. The focus here is practical advice you can apply straight away to your business. It gives you a glimpse inside the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, our online coaching program, where we aim to democratize effective brand strategy. So come with me, take a step inside the virtual lighthouse. Welcome.
What can you tell us about the Ogilvy Philippines office?
Ogilvy Philippines is a long kind of story, and it's one of those golden years type tales as well, where you don't potentially realize it at the time, but that was probably the shining golden years of the uplit highlands, as Winston Churchill would call, even though it was incredibly hard work. Basically, this was my first job running an advertising agency, and it was in a market in the Philippines which was not renowned for its creative product, although they've got great natural creativity. Filipinos are wonderful musicians, artists, writers, incredible talent. But certainly within the advertising world, it had been more a kind of mimicking or copying and rather than creating a stamp of its own mark. So there was an opportunity there, and I inherited this small agency. It was maybe 45 people, 50 people, in a bit of a tough time. The previous managing directors had been a joint brother show, and there were question marks over what they had been doing, and there were allegations and lawsuits for drug issues, and we had some pretty poor reputation in there.
Right. Some hot water.
Some real hot water. And, nearly 75% of the agency was one particular client, which, as any business owner will know, is not a healthy situation to be in. Should that client decide they didn't want to work with you anymore, the whole organization would collapse. So it certainly needed to be diluted. We needed to kind of increase our dispensability factor, though obviously keeping that client happy was job number one. The upside of all of that was it was just a complete opportunity to do a major turnaround. And I was very lucky to, choose and find an outstanding creative partner in David Guerrero, who's still there now, BBDO Guerrero, one of the most famous creative people, probably the most famous creative person in the Philippines now.
And for listener context, What year is this around?
Good question. This must have been the middle of the 1990s, so 1994, something like that.
Okay, cool.
95. And we were lucky also that it was a politically stable time in the Philippines, which we took full advantage of. And we decided that, strategically, we were going to be out and out, outstanding creative proponents. So we were going to differentiate our agency on the caliber and the quality of the creative work that we were producing. Up until that point, the agency had never won a creative award. It had no a reputation whatsoever for quality, even though the Ogilvy network was right up there. Ogilvy Philippines had done nothing. But that was our key point of difference, that we were unashamedly and aggressively going to build our agency on the caliber of the creative work that we produced, which we believed rightly created greater awareness and drove the business side of our clients those that did great creative work. So anyway, cut a long story short, we had and I had the good fortune to have a kind of terrific team there, along with David. Tina Coscuela was on the account management side and was extraordinarily well connected, smart lady. We began this turnaround journey, and it literally happened overnight. David and I arrived and espoused our positioning, and we lived up to that proposition. We ended up in a market that had never even won an international award, and that is, no agency in the country had ever won an international award. We ended up, after 4 years, having won the first international awards the Philippines had ever won, but 10 times more than any other agency in the country had won combined. We were the top 3 most awarded creative agencies in the Ogilvy network, which was extensive. So we were used as an example to places like London and New York and Rio de Janeiro of what could be done. We actually outscored one of those very large markets.
Right. And you think that was on account of that paradigm shift of not copying other formats, but actually specifically tailoring things to that market and that setting and that
yes,
that place?
absolutely. But also doing some very aggressive, bold, creative work that had lots of distractors, as you can imagine. The established agencies, J. Walter Thompson was a WPP sister agency and was the number 2 agency. McCann's, one of my original alma maters in London, was the number 1 big establishment agency, and they don't like any little kind of young Turk kind of coming in and shaking the market up when they're controlling things. So they did their best to destroy our reputation. They called us scam artists, making up ads, campaigns and things like this for clients that didn't exist. We never did that, by the way. We were always legitimate. For sure, we highlighted the caliber of our work with some very small clients sometimes to show the bigger clients what could be done and what impact they could have if they followed some of the creative principles that we adhered to. It took time to build that reputation up and to attract the best kind of creative talent and account management talent, which we did in a 3 or 4 year period. We transformed that agency. We ended up being 140 people strong and more than quadrupling the size of the agency, and obviously diminishing the indispensability of that 75% of our revenue clients. So it was much more evenly distributed, and we had a healthy portfolio of 25 or 30 really good clients.
Thank you for listening to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. If you found this helpful and want to know more, please visit my website at peterwilkin.com. That's Wilkin with an E at the end. You'll find more free resources, instructional videos, and links there. If you're a CEO or a business owner looking to build your brand, or a brand strategist looking to level up your skills, check out the CBO Masterclass in the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, where you'll be guided through a comprehensive, stepwise process to develop your unique brand DNA and learn the skills to become a certified Chief Brand Officer. If you have any brand or strategy related questions you'd like answered, you can ask them in the showcase notes below. I'll do my best to address them. Thank you, and see you next time.